Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about Planescape: Adventures in the Multiverse. That is the correct title, and it is extremely important when we say Planescape: Adventures in the Multiverse. Dungeons and Dragons is taking the multiverse much farther than any product has ever taken it. Far more than Marvel, right? Marvel's like, oh, hey, here's our multiverse. It connects a bunch of Marvel people across time, right? Marvel canon has Marvel comics that already branch out to DC, but their multiverse, right, in the cinema doesn't have the courage to branch out to DC characters, right? Dungeons and Dragons goes far beyond that with the multiverse, right? So the Dungeons and Dragons multiverse goes to all Dungeons and Dragons realms, goes to Magic the Gathering realms, goes to Lego, okay, goes to Funko Pop, and the intellectual properties goes to Yahtzee, right? And the intellectual properties crossed over in this. It's literally over 1,000 intellectual properties. It's incredible, right? So when they say the multiverse, they mean the multiverse, right? And increasingly, this concept of multiverse for Dungeons and Dragons is far more expansive and far more courageous than anything that's even marginally touched on any other intellectual property. It is truly astounding, right? So we're seeing this, this come forward, and what's interesting is I'm getting very excited for this product because F. Wesley Schneider is working on it. So he is a game designer. He is a designer he is an official designer on the official D&D, on the official Dungeons and Dragons team. And at this point, I'm pretty sure, like, he's in Washington State, and he is, showing up at 9 in the morning and leaving at 5 and drinking coffee all day and designing Dungeons and Dragons. That's a big deal because I think you could count on one hand the number of tabletop role-playing game companies in the world where people actually work and actually labor and actually deliver tabletop role-playing games in these type of situations, right? So, and he did Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, which I think is one of the best restorations of a classic Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting, bringing it for, blowing the dust off, sweeping off all that old, crusty, 80s, 90s energy, and making it modern and useful, right? And so the fact that they've put F. Wesley Schneider on Planescape is very exciting to me because I think it's in really good hands, right? So what's really interesting is Todd Kenrick has been doing a great job, and he's been breaking down, he's been sitting down with all these designers for Planescape, and they did a deep dive into the adventure that is in the Planescape Adventures in Multiverse slipcase, right? So he sits down and he says, during this adventure, there is a high probability, almost a certainty, that your player character is going to die. When you die, a new incarnation of you will be created, and you will have the chance to change at minimum your level and your class, right? And I think there's quite a few clues. He didn't say this one, that you'll be able to change your species, right? And I thought that was really fascinating, right? And he specifically said, we're doing this so that, player characters can have the ability to, I chose a rogue and now I've played two levels of rogue, but look at Sally over there. She's got a wizard. She has all those spells, and man, I wish I could cast some spells. And so it allows you to jump right in to a level 17 wizard or a level 17 barbarian, right? And so basically, Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse is specifically positioning itself so that it is positioning itself so that it is actually ready to use death as a tool for the player characters, right? This is incredible. I cover, I mean, you guys have seen it. I literally have thousands of videos talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I know it front to back, and every day I'm like, it genuinely shocks me how many times I'm surprised with Dungeons and Dragons. So we understand that Dungeons and Dragons, since 1974, has been this vessel specifically used to explore identity, right? Well, as Americans, and Dungeons and Dragons is an American game made for Americans, in my humble opinion. As Americans, we struggle with really interacting with and really defining our relationship with death, right? And here, and this is why I'm so excited about F. Wesley Snyder, I really think he understood how important this vehicle to explore identity that Gary Gygax brought forward and handed to humanity as the most powerful secular gift ever given to humanity. And I think he's doing what Gary would have done and saying, okay, we're going to use Dungeons and Dragons to allow people to explore death, so when they encounter it, right, either those they love who are being impacted by it, or for those who, for people who are encountering death, or when they encounter it, when they get to the point where they are actually very close to experiencing experiencing that themselves, they have some type of, they actually have they've had a test run, essentially, right? And so here you see F. Wesley Snyder using Dungeons and Dragons to take the idea of identity exploration to a place that many, many, many Americans truly, dramatically struggle to process, right? And he's doing with courage, he's doing it with artistry, and he is really doing it with panache and focus, and it is extremely exciting, right? And I'm really excited to I'm so thrilled to think that this book is going to be out soon, and it will help Americans process death in a more functional and helpful way. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and may God bless you and yours.